now that I have a link for the Infura API, I'm going to install a module or two and then get started with the deployment script. I'm going to pivot to my terminal and install one module that's going to help me in creating a provider that will connect to the Infura network. So I'll go ahead and share my terminal window here. And I'm going to talk about this package, what this package is doing in a moment. But first, I'm going to start off with the installation process. So npm install -- save truffle -hd wallet -provider. So that should install that module. And hopefully that should not take too long. Looks like it's almost done there. It's going through its process. Okay, lots of warnings. More warnings. Okay, so that is installed. We have the Truffle HD Wallet Provider version 0.0.3. Okay, so I'm going to head back over to my diagram. Okay, and I had this diagram up in the last video. The provider here is our Web3 instance. It's how our Web3 instance talks to a particular network. I just installed a special provider that not only allows me to connect to some outside API or node, but also allows me to simultaneously unlock an account. Before, when I made use of the Ganache CLI, I had an easy time setting up the provider using ganache.provider. And I'll just as a reminder, I'll show you that code there. Got to pull up my, all right, and I'll share that with you. So I'm referring to, where is it? This right here, the ganache.provider. And so that instantly allowed me to connect to the local test network and unlock a couple of accounts for me. This time around, I have to set this up manually. And when I do that, I have to specify exactly what network I want to connect to, and I have to use it to unlock an account that will be used for all the different deployment requests that I make. This is why I just installed the Truffle HD Wallet Provider. And that's going to be the provider that is going to allow me to connect to the R.I.S.E network via Infura, and it's going to simultaneously, and more importantly, allow me to unlock an account to use. So since I'm already here in my code editor, I'm going to get started with my deployment script. So I'm going to make a new file at the root directory of my project. I'm going to call it deploy.js, so it's a JavaScript file. And at the very top, I'm going to import a couple of different modules. So I'm going to do const HD wallet provider and acquire truffle. There we go. All right. Then I'm going to do const web3 acquire, and that's going to be web3. Okay. So this is this right here is the web3 constructor, and I've used that before. And finally, I'm going to import my interface and my bytecode from my compile script. So I'll do const, that's interface, comma, bytecode, and require, that is /compile. Okay. Notice that I'm now in the same directory here, in the same directory as the compile file, which is why I'm using one dot here when requiring it in. Now, here's the fun part. I'm going to set up this HD wallet provider. Remember, this is simultaneously going to set up the account to unlock and use as a source of Ether for deploying the contract and specify what outside API or node I'm going to connect to. So I'm going to do, next I'll do const, oh wait, I'll give it some space here. I'll do const provider, new HD wallet provider. Right. I'm going to pass in two arguments into the this new object of HD wallet provider. The first is going to be the account mnemonic. Remember, the account mnemonic allows me to derive the public key and private key. So with the mnemonic alone, I can get total access to the account through this HD wallet provider. And I'm going to paste in my mnemonic. Just grabbing it. All right, and I'm doing this as a string. Okay. And I'm going to put a comma here because, as I said, I'm going to have a second argument. The second argument is going to be a link or URL of what network I'm going to connect to. And this is where I'm going to specify my inferior link. So I'm going to head over to the browser, and I'm going to go ahead and grab the inferior link here, head back to my code editor, and this is going to be a string as well. And in this case, as you saw, I selected the R.I.S.E network because that's where I have some number of Ether tokens right now. So I'm going to paste the link as the second argument right here as a string. All right, let's see what else. What else? So finally, underneath provider, I am going to do. Let's see, underneath the provider, I'm going to do what's const web3 new web3 provider. All right. So this last line of code here, that should look familiar as I used it before in my test file. So this is going to take my provider and pass it to the Web3 constructor and get an instance of Web3. The Web3 constructor is completely enabled for the R.I.S.E network. I have unlocked an account, so I have a source of Ether, and I have specified which network Web3 needs to connect to. So I've configured this Web3 instance to interact with the network in any way, shape, or form. I can use it to send Ether, to deploy contracts, or even to update contracts. Now in the next video, I'm going to use this Web3 instance to deploy my contract and run my deployed script to see how it's doing. I'll see you there.